Hey everyone, I'm sorry about my lighting. It's really the best I could get it and be able to show you the whole pan. So I've got some of my rust water here. This isn't from the batch that we just did. This is from previous. And I put it in a spray bottle like this. This is just from the Dollar Tree. Hate calling it that. There's nothing there, $1. Anyway, I am going to stop ranting about that. But anyway, these are just some things that I'm going to use. This is a calculator tape roll that during the summer I was tea dyeing. And so I just laid it in there and I would turn it from end to end. And I tried to like poke holes and things where it would seep through. It really didn't. I mean, the edges are awesome. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? So I thought maybe I would try some of that where it didn't get much color. I don't know, I may not. I really like this paper. It's so pretty. But I may, yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to try some of this. I'm going to keep that. And then I have, as you can tell, this is kind of rusty looking or dirty. It's more orange than it's showing on camera. Trying to mess with my light a little bit. You can tell it's more orange. And I use this because it has really good, leaves really good markings. There you could see it pretty good. It's pretty orange. And then I grabbed some of my stencils that I used for tea dyeing. And I just grabbed, where did that go? That was an accent. Some tea dyed lace that I had done. It didn't get everywhere. It was just in certain spots. And I thought I would try that. And then also, so like I said, I just grabbed some of these placemats. That's what they really are, but I use them for stencils. Some envelopes and magazine page, a little bit more, some lace, some index cards that are blue tea dyed. I wanted to mix them and see what it would look like. Then I grabbed some paper that's got either blue tea or hibiscus. I kind of think this is hibiscus because it's more gray. I grabbed some packing paper. This is a piece that I feel like I have already used rust on, and it turned kind of an ugly. Cotton seems like it does, and I'll tell you that the fabrics and the paper are no different than the metals. It's kind of hit or miss with this rust water. I wanted this great big pan because during the summer I had used it and it left lines on the paper, and I loved it. I thought it looked so good. So I grabbed some tea-dyed pillowcase, some tea-dyed papers, and more magazine, some music page, just different things that I'm going to try. And I am going to grab some white paper, just normal copy paper. These are the end strips, again, that I pull off from my packing labels and see what they turn like. And actually, I think I'm going to put them on the bottom so that maybe they'll get these ridges. I might do some of the tea dye first. So I don't have any gloves on, but let me tell you, don't worry about me because I do wash my hands very good when I'm done. I don't really see how it's already turning black. I don't like lay my hands in it or anything. And yes, I know that it's getting on me, I'm sure, but like I said, I do wash my hands. I don't use this every day. And I'm just spraying the one side. I'm thinking that it's going to pick up on what I sprayed down, hopefully. And I'm not doing a whole lot because I just want random little pieces. Okay, so here is the linen. And again, I'm just going to barely squirt. You know, sometimes this turns a really beautiful color. As I was saying, it's kind of hit or miss with fabrics and fibers and papers as it is. Now, see, I'm going to get a good stencil of that, so I'm going to go ahead and spray around it. As it is with the metals, you just really don't know what you're going to get. and do some of this lace. I hope it turns out because I think it would make a great enclosure. And these are just some magazine pages that just has writing on them. No really good pictures, so I thought I would check that out and see what it looked like. I think I'm going to lay down this music page and then put my lace on top of it. I feel like I've sprayed this lace before, though, and it just turned black, so we'll see. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with humidity and whether I'm inside or outside. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to tell you this works, that works, or doesn't work. I just play around with it and see what I get. I know that I should wear gloves. I don't like to because I feel like I can't get a hold of things. And like I said, I don't do this very often. It's not like, you know, somebody that works with it, I'm sure, all the time. Okay, those are blue tea dyed that I've just squirted there. Here's blue tea dyed as well. And now I'm going to lay down a stencil. Ooh, look at it. Isn't that pretty? This one got all wrinkled up, so I thought maybe I would spray it and it would come unwrinkled. Straighten out. Some envelopes. I love doing envelopes. I'll show you something else I like to do with envelopes, and hopefully it'll work this time. I think I'm just going to lay down some of this because I love when it gets the crisscrosses on there. Very pretty. Hopefully it'll work. And these hearts, they look really cool too. I've just moved that, so I probably messed it all up. And spray the hearts where maybe they'll show up on my paper a little bit. I would recommend doing this outside for sure. I'm not because it's too cold, and I'm going to do it really quick. Let's do some strips of this. Also, I've done wax paper before, and it turns out really neat. I think I'm going to throw some of these little strips. These are also strips from when I pack stuff. I'm just going to spray some of those. Not a whole lot, just kind of throwing them in there. And then also, let's see, what was something else I used? I wanted to use this big stencil. I didn't even take my washi tape off from when I did the bubble paint. I think I want to use, I've used some fabrics. I've got some muslin here. I would like to try that too. I don't think I've ever tried muslin before. Okay, so that's all the damage I'm going to do with it today. But hopefully, I say I'm done. Look, I'm still going. These are some of my splatter paints from the bubble. I'm going to spray that too. Just give it a little bit more. Here's a little bit of pretty tea-dyed paper. I'm going to try it too. I'm just finding stuff on my desk now that I like. See what we get. May just get nothing. We may just get black. We may get something really pretty. Who knows? Maybe I'll try a couple of these bubble painted pieces. See how that reacts. If it even adds anything to it. And you know what? I have some packing paper. I want to try it too. Okay. I really am done this time. We'll see what we get. And I don't know. This may take a day or so to dry. I didn't spray it a lot, but, you know, I'm not really sure how much I did spray it. So, once these get dry or dry enough to handle them and work with them, I will be back to show you what we got. And I'm going to go wash my hands. And look, I found another piece of paper. I said I was done. That's some paper that I used to stencil or to, I know what I did. Those little hole reinforcers, I was inking them. So we're doing all kinds of things here today. Here's some paper bag. Let's just throw that down. All right, I really am done. See you in a bit, guys. A few things I wanted to show you. Carol had sent me a message on YouTube, and I wanted to show her something. These were some, they call them laundry pins. I'm not exactly sure how they work or what their purpose is, but this is what they look like. They're kind of goldish looking. I have rust on my hands because I was just messing with this stuff, but I will get it off. Okay, so that's a little better. You can kind of see the color that they are. So when I rusted them, I mean, I did it for a long time and nothing happened because of the kind of metal they are. But when I took them out, I just left the solution on there and let it dry. So basically, this is the solution. I'm sure if you rubbed it long enough, you could clean that right off. But I like the look it gave. It gave kind of a neat look. So that's about the best I got with those. And then another thing I wanted to show you was on the paper clips. See how pretty they are? This one, just from the time I've started this, grabbed it and came in here, it was really black like this. And this one, which was dry, has a pretty rust color. So I was going to tell you, even when you think it's not going to turn, that it didn't work and you just keep leaving it, take it out anyway and let it dry. And it will, once it gets dry, it's just going to keep corroding, so to speak, I think, and it will be a pretty rust color. And then to show you one more silly thing I done, I accidentally threw this one in when I was doing some other things today. This is plastic. I mean, it shouldn't rust, right? And it's not rusted. It's just the solution that's dried on it and made it look rusty. And I would think if you coated it with something, it would keep that. I just think it looked neat, so I thought I would show it to you. And then also I wanted to let you know that I'm going to throw in some book page. That was something that I forgot to spray. I'm going to spray some old book page, like rag paper, and then I'm also going to spray some that's like from a Reader's Digest, that's old but not like vintage or anything like that. All right, so I just thought that might be interesting. Here is the basket, and most things are dry that I've been messing with on the top. So I thought I would just show you how beautiful these papers turned out. And they did leave their little rust color. My wax paper, I have already started removing some things, but as we get farther down, you'll see that I didn't. My wax paper didn't show up very well. I can see it in person, and it left a great texture. Love that texture, and it is very pretty. I would highly recommend doing that. Here are some of the stenciled ones. Isn't it beautiful? Love it. Here's some of the ink bubble paper. It just added another color to it. Very pretty. Very pretty. So I have lots of goodies to play with here. I'll probably do a lot of stampings. Like I'll stamp numbers and things on these. I know it just seems like a wadded up mess right now, but all of these things and this color is going to look so good in a grungy journal, an industrial, a rustic. It's amazing how much just this colored paper will add to something. All of the good markings that it gives. There's some more of the stencil. Isn't that good? That looks so good. And see, just like that, we can make little notebooks out of these scraps. You have transform your white paper into something you want to create for charms, or when I say charms, like the little notebooks out of these things. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I love those. And you can write on them. There's no texture. The wax paper had texture, but the normal paper doesn't. Because the wax paper, the salt kind of sits on the top and gives it a texture. Here's some of the tea dye. It's really pretty. It almost looks like we flicked tea on it. It's not real rusty looking. Some more of the bubble painted. Now this packing paper, you really can't tell that it was rust, other than right here. It kind of just looks like we spilt something on it. Ooh, I didn't see the back. Back looks great. So yeah, that's going to be a nice addition. That's really pretty. That would look really pretty with some Tim Holtz pieces on it, wouldn't it? Or in a collage with some Tim Holtz. See, that's got a little bit of the stencil on it. Here's some of the brown paper bag. It's different. It's got a different look to it. It's not my favorite. And the thing is, if I don't rinse these off, which I should, but I probably won't, when I get ready to dye in the summer or any other point, some of that rust is going to bleed and it's going to give it an even better color and texture to it. Look at all of these. This is the calculator tape. I love this. It's still a little bit damp, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it off because by the time I use it, oh gosh, isn't that pretty? Here's some of the, oh, I love this. It almost looks like foxing. Some of the magazine page. I did it because I hate that snake. So I knew that I wasn't going to use that picture. But I would certainly use this to back something with. Very pretty. So I'm just going to lay my stencils aside and look at this. Look at the back of this stencil. That's going to come off and onto my next project, and I love it. So pretty. Here's some more of the magazine pages. Love this. See, and these weren't, I should have tried some really shiny ones, but these weren't really shiny. A little bit shiny. But it takes that off and gives it a beautiful new color. And here's some of our envelopes. Just give them a little color. Little background color. Now, see, this is still wet. Ooh, but isn't that pretty? Can you see that stencil there? How pretty is that? They're not real wet. They're just a little damp. This is where I laid. I don't know what that was, if that was a table covering. But look, isn't that pretty? The checkerboard it left on there. That's going to make great pieces for our journals or even a journal cover. So pretty. And not much of it turned black. It kept that pretty rust color. Now I've done, oh, that's pretty. Look at that. I've done this before and the rust turned black. Again, it might have been because I'd done it outside. It might have been the heat. It might have been, you know, whatever else I was using just changes it. So it's always kind of fun to see what you're going to get. Now look at this. How cool is that? Love it to pieces. That was from this stencil. Oh, it got both sides. Look at there. Very pretty. And I did these on some of the blue tea paper. Some of the index cards. The markings on these are so pretty. So I've got lots and lots of interesting backgrounds now just from that little bit of spraying with the rust. Very, very cool. And this almost looks like boxing on book page in some spots. Love the way it did on that edge. Well, that would be nice to dip edges in, wouldn't it? Like if you decal edged your pages and then dipped it in some of that solution, wouldn't that be pretty? I painted that. This was just a sheet that I had used on gel printing. Okay, so I had this lace and it did turn kind of black in spots, but it's not that pretty actually. Okay, but the paper's underneath. And again, that looks like foxing. Very pretty what it did to the music paper. Love it. I think that if you just saw those pages and you didn't realize they'd been sprayed, you would think it was foxing. These look really nice. Some more magazine page. Oh wow, look at the markings on that. And this is some of the lace. It's stretchy. I want to use it for an enclosure, and it did keep a really pretty rusty look. It didn't turn it black. So, but again, this piece, which is cotton, and it's a crochet doily, it's not pretty. See, it left black. But look at what it left on the paper. Doesn't the paper look pretty? Very pretty markings on the paper. Now this was from a pillowcase that I sprayed, and honestly, I think it looks terrible. It looks like mold. It doesn't look nice at all. I won't use this. I'll either try to wash it or tea dye it again or something. It's not pretty. And more papers. See, did I get any lines? Nope, I didn't. That's too bad. I was hoping I would get some lines on the back from these grids on the bottom of the pan, but I didn't. I guess I probably just didn't get it wet enough. But these were some tea dye papers. So we have a little bit of black, a little bit of color on those. And these were some of the scrap papers from shipping labels. Gave it some really nice color. And that, so I really think out of this stack of things, we only had one fail, which was this. Bring you down. And the rest of it, I think, turned out really good. I'm really happy with these papers. I think the papers turned out beautiful. Very pretty. And except, you know, the lace didn't turn out very good. It looks better on camera than it does in real life. It's not pretty in real life. But the music page, everything turned out, I think, really well, except for this. And I'm a little surprised about that. I'm not surprised about the crochet doily because, like I said, it turned black before. I was just thinking maybe this was a different batch of rust water, so maybe, you know, it would be a little different, but it's really not. It's still not pretty. Those look nice. Still not pretty, and that's okay, but I think we got a lot of good papers, a lot of different color, different markings. I love the stencil ones. Those turned out great. I love the calculator tape. I was happily surprised with the packing paper. I'm really pleased with this batch. I think it did well. I hope that you're inspired to do some of this. I've been it's been suggested a couple times on my channel to try using cinnamon to rust with, and I would say eventually I'm going to have to do that. But I really do enjoy using the rust water. I enjoy, you know, all the things with the rusty bits, never knowing what I'm going to get. I just like the unknown, really. I think I like being surprised. I'm probably just going to cut this right in the middle of the video, so none of this is going to make any sense that you're seeing it. But I forgot to show you these pieces. And I remembered it later that I had actually looked at them and laid them off to the side in the garage, so I forgot to bring them in. But this is some rag book paper that I had done. Isn't it beautiful? It actually looks like foxing. I tried to pick a piece that didn't have a lot of foxing so I would know the differences. This is the piece that had the, where I had done the little hole reinforcers and I had inked on it and then I sprayed it towards the end of the video. Here are some just normal book page that's not that old. It's probably, I don't know, probably less than vintage. And this is from Reader's Digest, but look how beautiful it is. Look how pretty that turned. You see, making some page ruffles out of that, wouldn't that be beautiful? And last but certainly not least is my muslin. And I love that. I can see me tearing this into strips and stamping numbers. There's so many things, using it for clusters, so many ways that I will use this. It's absolutely beautiful. And it kept that beautiful rust color. It didn't turn black. So again, I think that we really had a lot of wins. A lot of good things came out of this. Beautiful papers. But this is a happy surprise, I think. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you will try it. If you rusted things, let's, you know, Here's the crochet piece that's really ugly. It shows up better on camera than it does in person, but it's really not pretty. It looks dirty, like I run it through the mud or run over it with my car or something. It's not good. I wouldn't. Other than I love the stencil that it left, I don't enjoy this. But this could be washed or tea dyed, and it will take a lot of that out. So I think 2 fails out of all this was a win. Not to mention, now my stencil see where it left some black? It's probably going to leave some really beautiful coloring on whatever I use next, as long as I don't wash it. And knowing me, I won't wash it because that's just not my way. But back to the cinnamon. I will probably try that someday. Um, but for now, I'm enjoying this process. I hope that you did. Thanks for watching. Hope you're inspired, make some beautiful things, and I would love it if you would share them with me. Thanks again, guys. See you next time. Bye.